she has a center, she teaches classes down the street, also at Liberate, was the fact that she lived with at the Osho ashram. So
interesting.
yeah, I knew you like that. Okay.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm happy to be here. I love pickup artists.
We love you.
I started studying pickup maybe 10, 15 years ago to protect myself from you guys, because I was an easy target. And does anybody remember David D'Angelo?
Yes.
Yes.
I used to be on his mailing list. And I noticed that there was a method to guys that were successful. I started noticing that there was similarities between them, so I thought I want to learn that. So at first I was just curiously learning it, and then I'm not sure how long ago that was, 7 or 8 years ago. My BFF is a guy who just turned 40, and we were both dating heavily at the time, and we were studying mystery method, and we started being on the phone every day for 2 or 3 hours going over our field reports. And because I decided I just really wanted to master this. And people think, why would a woman study pickup? Well, I was never the prettiest girl. I was always one of the smartest. So the guys that would, and I was always very shy. So the guys that would hit on me were not the guys that I wanted. And I wanted to be able to choose. Anybody relate to that? Okay, I want to be able to choose. So I found that a lot of this stuff's really helpful for women too, and I'm going to write a book about that. But in the meantime, so I broke through those barriers of going out and meeting and doing approach, and I got rejected as much or more than you, because we're the masters of rejection, right?
Yes.
And it's not really rejection once you really get into it, right? It's not really rejection, it's just like the vibe isn't right with that person. And but it takes a while for the ego to get okay with that. And then I hired Vince, it's about 2 years ago now, because during that time I was really dating a lot. I was on like 5 online dating sites, and just meeting 2 or 3 men a week, and then going out in the field and running it all with my buddy. And there were a couple guys during that time I thought those were guys I would like to actually have as my boyfriend or more, but I didn't have the skills to get them. So I hired Vince one-on-one and worked with him for 1.5 years. It was completely awesome. And now for the last 10 months I've been in a relationship with the man of my dreams. And both of us are always saying to each other, I can't believe this is this good. I cannot believe this is this good, both of us. And we have sex all the time. So I'm going to talk to you about that too, because that is amazing. Because conventional world sex will tell you that you're in your sexual prime now, right? And it's only going to get worse. And if you have a conventional mindset, that could be true for you. That could be true. It could be your future. Or you can learn the arts of lovemaking, which in ancient times or in the East were considered something a man would do, take on as a skill to acquire to be a great lover, or learn the arts of lovemaking. And here we are, we're all learning the Venusian arts, as Mystery calls them. So I believe lovemaking is part of that. I wrote these 2 books, and they're going to be on sale at the end. And this is a book, it's not like you have to sit down and commit to read a book, it's little short things. And this one I wrote while I was working with Vince, which is tantric dating, which is kind of a spiritual love and awareness in the dating process, but it's completely compatible with pickup. And I'm really proud because on the back there's a testimonial from Vince, and he says, as a pickup artist experienced with countless women, I have found that I'd rarely turn to a woman for advice on dating coaching except for Auman. For her, I would completely trust her advice and welcome her perspective. So, Vince, thank you.
How much are the books? How much are the books?
This one is normally 12, it's going to be 10, and this one's normally 15, so it's 2 for 20. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Okay. So, let's just start up. So, One thing you guys learned in this weekend or studying pickup is that almost everything that conventional world teaches you is wrong, right? You have to learn everything over if you're going to live a free life. And I always wanted to be free. And some of the things they tell you about sex are really wrong, like, well, I want to start off by saying not wrong, but, hi. So there's procreative sex, which is DNA sex, right? Which is where you're driven by DNA to reproduce. So that involves penis and vagina, ejaculate, baby's supposed to be born. And a lot of, some of the pickup theorists think that men are driven only by that. And so that you're supposed to sow your seed to as many women as possible. But I know the truth about you guys. I know you're all looking for love. I know that truth. And you are being told that that's not true by a lot of the culture. And the culture right now is really obsessed that all men are sexual predators. And some people think that pickup school is about becoming a sexual predator. For some people it is, but I think that's a small percentage. The men that I've met in the pickup community are men that are really working on themselves, becoming better humans, and looking for love. Charles Muir is one of the most famous Tantra teachers in the world. He's just turned 70, and he said something that blew my mind. The first Tantra class I took in the 90s, he said, everyone's looking for love, everyone. Men just look for it with their dicks. He said, that's not wrong. It's just the way they do it. So behind this, so there's nothing wrong with looking just for sex. I think that the way that pickup teaches guys to go out to bars and hit on drunk women or whatever, just get laid, I don't think that's a bad thing, because we do need to get to a place in our sexual development where we've had enough, so we're not starving, you know? So you just don't feel that sense of starvation, because your approach is not going to be very good if you're starving. You know, women are going to feel that and go, I don't really, you know, it's just like if a woman is emotionally starving, you're going to be like this, you know, she's needy. So I think it's good to get a lot of sexual experience, but after that, then what? You want to have these higher, a lot of us want to go to these higher levels of sexuality and be able to make love. And make love, my boyfriend and I make love for 4 or 5 hours. He's 57 and he can make love for that long without pills or anything. And this is very exciting to think that this is the type of weekend you can have with somebody, where it's just making love for these wonderful, ecstatic, spiritual states of being. So, again, this is an art form that you need to learn, but how can we start in something that will be actually helpful for you to take out into your pickup? Anybody willing to do an exercise with me? The rest of you are not particularly? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so one of the things that the mainstream culture teaches everybody is to be cut off here at the neck and have no feelings, okay? You think guys are taught not to have feelings? Anybody? Yes. Definitely, okay? You're not supposed to have feelings, and if you have feelings, the only one you're allowed to have is anger, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? And other than that, some of the softer, sweeter feelings you're not supposed to have at all, but I know you guys are all having them. And one of the ways that the society controls people, and it's controlling women more and more too, is that it keeps you separated so that the only thing you can feel is your thoughts and maybe your dick, but sensations there. So people become much more sexually focused because that's the only way that you can feel. So one thing we're going to do to become fuller men and more fully sexual is bring our awareness totally down into our bodies. Okay? So we're going to do that right now. You put both your feet on the floor. Now personally, I don't like to close my eyes in a room full of strangers. If you want to close your eyes, if you're comfortable with that, go ahead. But I just sort of put my vision down like this so I'm not looking at everything. Anybody here do yoga? Okay, great. So you guys know about pulling a breath all the way down into your belly. So you notice right now where you're breathing. Most of us are breathing very shallow. And shallow breathing, just at the top of your chest here, is a way to not feel your feelings. It also provokes anxiety, because if we started breathing really shallow and really fast, we could invoke a panic attack, okay? So one of the methods yoga teaches and that awareness teaches is to bring our breath down and take a deep breath. People will tell you when you're getting a little agitated, hey, take a deep breath, right? Because that does help us chill. So let's take a deep breath into our diaphragm here, because most people think of a deep breath as being puff up your rib cage, okay? And then let that out. Let's do that again because it feels good. Okay, now collapse your rib cage. Okay, good. Anybody notice any difference already?
Yes.
What do you notice?
I can feel my skin.
Feel your skin?
All over.
All
My
over.
hands, my feet,
Okay,
legs, calves.
great, thanks. Anybody else sort of feel that?
More grounded a little bit.
A little more grounded, okay.
Can you
let's
repeat that exercise?
What?
Can you repeat that exercise? Like, what was it?
Yeah.
Breathe?
Okay. The first step is to just feel it shallow up here. The next step is to puff out the rib cage, fill the rib cage full of air, full of lungs, okay? Puff it out, and then out through the mouth. Now usually what happens, if you notice, because you're probably trained not to notice, but your mind gets a little quieter, it stops chattering as much. Maybe you feel your body a little more, feel a little more grounded, okay. So that's what most people in our culture think of taking a deep breath, and most people in this culture probably do that once a week, I don't know, okay? What we're gonna do a yoga breath is we pull it all the way down here to our belly. Okay. Now this is exactly the opposite of what we're taught, because we're all taught to have as flat a belly as possible. I personally like to have a flat belly too, but a relaxed, sexy belly is actually loose. So they're trying to control you to not be a sexual person, so they make you keep your belly really tight. This is all a plot because sexual people are free people and can't be controlled. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to air down past the rib cage into the belly. Now, so the way I envision it, even though this doesn't make any sense, is I imagine the air coming in and going down my spine and all the way down to my tailbone. Now, does the air really go to the tailbone?
No.
Obviously not, okay? But that helps me. If it helps you, if not, do whatever you like. But I imagine that coming down to the tailbone and then the air goes all the way here, puffs out. Okay, will you try that with me? Puff your belly out, get it all the way down, and then exhale. Okay, again. Exhale through the mouth. Anybody noticing any feelings?
Go ahead.
I feel hyper.
A little hyper. Okay.
I feel that circularity that you're talking about.
A circular thing,
Yeah.
okay? All right, anybody feeling a little lightheaded?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. We don't usually take this much air in.
I feel like my nose is opening up. Like
Nose
more air.
opening up, yeah, okay. All right. All right, let's do this again. Let's bring it all the way down to the genitals. Okay? And the air. Now, how long have we been alive on this earth and we've never breathed into our genitals? Doesn't that seem weird all of a sudden? They need air too, so let's bring the air all the way down and enliven that part of our body with our breath. Say hello with all that air. You know how good it feels to take a nice deep breath? Let them take a nice deep breath. Because usually we're cut off, we don't have the experience of living with our genitals, or this thing that's over there that we think about sometimes. Well, maybe guys think about it more than women, but anyway, it's a separate thing. And then, okay, so has Vince talked to you guys about chakras yet?
Not much.
Not much, okay. Something he teaches usually. So in Tantra we talk about different chakras, but they're different power centers in the body. And your genitals would be a lower chakra, and then the heart would be a higher chakra. And then there's these spiritual ones up here. So when we bring the air, usually we're just coming here and the air's not coming all the way down. We're not fully sexual beings because we're cut off from our sex. And porn, even though porn can be fun and enjoyable, porn teaches you to cut off from the rest of your body because you're just experiencing it through your eyes and your dick. It's not coming down into the whole body. Okay? So when you want to become a fully sexual being, you want your whole body to be sex. Your whole body to be sexually alive. You want to have that not split, but to be fully sexual man. So if we bring that breath all the way down, you start to feel, maybe, does anybody, you can keep this yourself if you want, but maybe you start feeling a little tingling on your skin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of sexy. It's your own private business, but it's kind of sexy to feel your own skin tingling. Let's do it again, and just feel that tingling. Feel what that's like to have air in your whole body and your sex in your whole body. So what we did is we brought the air down through the heart, connected with the genitals, went back up through the heart. Heart-connected sex is what women are looking for. That's what you're looking for. But the women that you meet are looking for men who have their heart and their genitals connected. What does male culture teach you, or what does porn teach you? It's all about the cock. Well, it is all about the cock, but when it's connected to the heart, it's unstoppable. It's irresistible. You can make love for hours when your heart and your cock are connected. Because then it's a loop. We've been practicing a loop. Okay? It doesn't just start and stop. Conventional sex starts and stops. And usually the woman's left feeling unsatisfied. And I know all you guys are unhappy with that situation, want your beloveds to be satisfied. And then men start being unsatisfied because women are unsatisfied, and because you know deep in yourselves that something more is possible. So this is the first step to bring the breath down, enliven the whole body, and sexualize the whole body. Let's do it again together. It feels just ecstatic if you let it. Just breathing. When I was in the Osho ashram in India, it's a Tantra ashram, I lived there for a year. And sometimes we get in these states where all we just do is breathe this circular breath. And you can have orgasmic feelings just from the circulation of the breath, if you practice it, if you let it happen. So just okay. So now that we're a little more, anybody have comments at this point?
Feel relaxed.
We're relaxed. Great. Wouldn't it be great to be relaxed in the presence of a woman that you're trying to meet and that you're eventually want to have sex with? You could feel more relaxed. Wouldn't that be a great place to approach from?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and she's going to feel your relaxation. Okay, a fully sexual person can be totally relaxed in the world because you know, I can make any of you really happy. So I know you'd like to meet me. I don't have to worry about it. If you're tingling with aliveness, it's a frequency that's very attractive to people. So we practice this, which is totally unconventional, totally against the culture, to come in and enliven our bodies with breath. It's free. You can do it in a board meeting. You can do it while you're selling a car. Nobody needs to know that you are having this, practicing an orgasmic technique of enlivening the body with air and with your own sexual frequency. You're bringing it up through your heart and feeling it on your skin, feeling relaxed. Okay, so now we're going to do something else. You guys willing to do another exercise?
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's part 2 of this, which is that we're going to go down, and when we take the air down, we're going to look around inside. Do you guys remember a movie, think they remade it where they go through the arteries and they, some kind of sci-fi movie.
Isn't that Incredible Adventure?
Incredible Adventure, something like that. But we're gonna do it in a more sort of poetic way rather than scientific. So let's just go inside our bodies and turn your eye inward. Now take a breath down, puff out your belly, and look around in there. Look at the inside of your skin. Feel your genitals from the inside. Feel your belly. Maybe you like your belly to be touched, maybe you don't. Maybe you feel like your belly's too big, too small, too flabby, not abs enough, whatever. Your perfect belly, just bring it back up. Up to your heart and feel your heart from the inside. Most people's hearts by this age are a little bruised. Some girl broke your heart. You put yourself maybe with some girl that wasn't really safe. Maybe your parents didn't give you enough love. Just take a look at the condition of your heart from the inside. Bring it up to your shoulders. Looking on the inside. Down your arms. So they say that women in our culture are more in touch with the insides than men are. That doesn't mean you can't become an expert at it. Because this is a beautiful view to have while you're making love. What's going on the inside of me while I'm making love? If you're focusing on, I think all the guys in this room already know this, if you're just focusing on how soon can I come, it's probably not going to be the best sex in the world. Everybody, all guys who have any sort of consciousness are aware of that by now. And this is one way you can slow down and pay attention to what's actually happening in the rest of your body than just your penis. You can get your awareness off the anxiety of, am I pleasing her? Is this good enough? Whatever. And just do a scan on what's going on inside me. I want you to imagine a woman in your arms, and you're staying focused on your inside, connecting with yourself, noticing if your heart's a little scared. Noticing if your heart is connected with your genitals or if they're separate at this moment. This is not something you're able to do right away. This is something that is part of the arts of love that you can start today, incorporating as you see fit. This awareness in the present moment of being in a body. So it's funny, you know, we go out dating trying to meet somebody with our eyes, when what we're trying to do is find someone to put our body next to. Trying to find someone whose body connects with our body so we can have beautiful sex. And we try it, this culture, it teaches us to look with our eyes. I look a good-looking person as much as the next person, but I've come to value it less because I want to have beautiful sex. I want someone to put my body next to that feels delicious, comfortable, hot. So it takes, if you want that kind of relationship, it's going to take learning how to have that kind of relationship with your own body from the inside. We're taught to just treat our bodies like, geez, if my abs good enough or my biceps big enough, is my dick big enough, this and that and the other thing. For women, it's a whole list, even longer, what's not good enough. But instead, we go inside and we start learning how to make friends from the inside with this physical incarnation I'm in this life, because every body can be very, very sexy. I have been in Tantra groups where people are 400 pounds, I've been in groups where people are skinny, I've been in people with all kinds of bodies, and every single person can come to their own flower and their own sexuality. And when you carry that out into pickup, I feel good about my sexuality, not compared to anybody else's. This gives you a confidence and a radiance and an attractiveness. That's mesmerizing. Okay, anybody like to share what's going on for them so far?
I can feel the air going inside my body.
How does that feel to you?
Feels good. Feels more ease.
Feels at peace, feels good and beat that way, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I was hyped for a minute, now I'm more calm.
It's a great way to calm yourself. Wouldn't it be great to be in a sexual situation and be calm instead of hyper?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great? Okay? Wouldn't it be great to meet a woman from that place? It's hard because you meet somebody and you start getting scared and you start cutting off, but you can practice it on your own until you can get more comfortable with that. This is a tantric approach to meeting people. Somebody else want to share?
Question.
Yes.
So as we practice getting into this peacefulness, is it better to start at home where it's a quiet environment, or like in a public setting like Starbucks where there's a lot of activity that would help us engage to keep calm?
I think most people, this could be called a meditation, and I think most people find it more comfortable to meditate in a quiet place or a safe place, because like I said, I don't really want to close my eyes in a Starbucks. But as you go along, whenever you remember it, you could be standing in line at Starbucks and go, I'm not breathing. Right? I'm not breathing. Let me take a deep breath, feel that calm. Okay? Let me do that. Okay, I see someone I'm attracted to. My eyes are attracted. Okay, that's fine. Let me tune in and see if my body feels comfortable with that person. My body's going, no. Does anybody have a relationship, ever been in a relationship where when it's breaking up you go, I knew from the first time I saw her that I shouldn't go there? Anybody have that?
Yeah.
Okay? But I didn't pay attention. Okay? If we paid attention to the body would go, cute, but stay away. Okay? But we want to live like this and cut it off that knowing. Okay? Because that's what the conventional world is teaching us. The conventional world doesn't want us to be free sexual beings because you cannot be controlled that way. Yeah.
So what I'm feeling is when I'm out in the field, I'm thinking a lot about being strong and being playful.
Mm-hmm.
But the pickups at work, they work when there's this connection. But it's a vague thing.
A what thing?
It's vague. Like
Vague.
what that connection is. But right now, you're guiding me to this like authentic awareness more awareness of what that connection is.
Thank you so much, because it's vague unless we start noticing that it's a body awareness. Okay, so dogs go into a room and sniff each other, right? Okay, we have that mammal self, but we're overriding it because we're trying to do everything with our minds. It's like, well, that looks like a good candidate. But actually, if we sniffed, so to speak, if you go with that vague feeling of connection, that's going to work for you and flow much better than if we're trying to remember. Vince used to feed me these lines. They were brilliant. When Vince says them, they're perfect, right? I go out and I try to say them. Really, it's pathetic. Made such a fool out of myself. Because I'm trying to do it all from the mind and not from, oh, there's a connection here. Okay? So thank you for sharing that vague sense of connection. You can actually develop that through this technique of actually, it becomes less vague. It becomes that someone I connect with and that someone I don't. That person's really good looking. I wish I connected with them, but it doesn't work. Okay? This person, oh, I'm surprised. This isn't usually my type, but wow, this feels good. Okay? Or the other way around. It could be the other way around. But when we get over that prejudice of who I'm supposed to look for, and I'm looking for who do I really connect with, that's where it's going to be really juicy and flow freely. And that's where the best sex is going to be also. Because you're going to feel comfortable being in your body with that person. Because it's just an energy of feeling comfortable, and I feel my body feels good being in the presence of that person. So it's It's a different way of looking. A lot of why relationships are not working is because we're being taught a way to look that doesn't work. We would be at the ashram and we would be in a group of 50, half men and half women, or some of the smaller groups has them where there's 12, 6 men and 6 women. And we would do these exercises where we would all be naked. And by that point, we had developed a friendship with each other. And so there were orgies too, but that's not what I'm talking about. I never really liked those that much, but these exercises we would do, we would all be blindfolded. And then we would just go around this circle, and we would just touch someone and just feel, what is that vague sense? Do I feel connected with this person when I can't see? What is the sense of my connection with this person? Is it a friendship? Is it sexual? Is it no? Is it curious? Then we touch someone else. We go, oh, what is my connection with this person? And we would sense it through our bodies instead of our eyes. With the eyes, we're all looking for the same person with our eyes. We know what a good-looking person looks like, and we're looking for that person. But in the world of the body, it's a little different than that, because we don't always connect with that person. So then we would touch someone else. What's the nature of my connection with this person? And we would spend time talking before we did these exercises, so we all felt comfortable. But then it would be like, oh, that's what friendship feels like. That's what sexual attraction feels like. This is what safe feels like. This is what it feels like a person who wouldn't break my heart. You know, I got my heart broken way too many times. I wish I had known how to not have it broken so many times, because I think it gets kind of damaged, but apparently not, because I'm in love in a way I've never been before. But when you develop this sense and allow yourself, the animal part of yourself, to come up and go, dog sniffing another dog, is this a friendly one? Or is this a rabid dog? Or is this a kind one? Or whatever. Is this person going to treat my heart gently? I have a friend who's a Tantra teacher, David and Mary, who did a talk together up in Seattle. And he said this, I'll share it with you, it's quite beautiful. He said, so we call the pussy the yoni. Is anybody familiar with that term? So in Tantra, we consider sex to be sacred, and we consider the sex organs to be sacred. So the female pussy is called the yoni, and the man's cock is called a lingam. Well, they have these beautiful names like the wand of light. How would you feel going out to do pickup if you thought your cock was a wand of light? Right?
Good.
Wouldn't that be beautiful? This is my jade stock. This is my wand of love. So in Tantra, we believe that the penis is trying to find a woman to go in and share love with her. That's how we see sex. The penis communicates love. And that by entering a woman and massaging her and being with her, you're communicating love with her. Now, women don't understand this in this culture, but you can help them understand. So my friend David Amiri was saying that, I'd never heard this before, I thought it was very beautiful. So a woman, his heart wants to share her heart all the time, but she doesn't want to share her sex. And women are a little more shy about sharing our sex. Versus the man wants to share his sex, but is very quite shy about sharing his heart. So it's this polarity. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so it's that polarity. So the same reticence that you feel about sharing your heart is how she feels about sharing her yoni. And so you can think that you need to get to know a woman a little bit before you share her heart with her. Now, women have become quite emotionally aggressive, right? They want your heart before you even know them. And I know I've been guilty of that too. It's like you have sex a couple times and they want to know if you love them. It's like, wait a minute, I'm not there yet. I might, but this is too fast for me. Is that a typical guy thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing for a woman. It's like we've been out, it's the opposite for a woman, but the same phenomena, which is, we've been out 3 times and you want to sleep with me, I don't know yet. So if you think of that reverse polarity, I think that's a beautiful way to understand each other. Okay? So then then as a man you can say, I'm not really ready to share my heart yet, it's going well, but whatever would be true for you in that moment. And then respect that equal polarity is going on with the woman.
So I have a question. Either through visual or through talking, how can you gauge which women are connected, or either connected or wanting to connect with their heart versus their yoni? I mean, is it evident, or is it something that...
It can be very evident and we can make mistakes. Okay, so the first thing is what you were saying, which is that we look for, see, our language is so much like this. We're feeling into who do I have connection with. Okay? Not just who would I like to have connection with, because she looks awesome, I'd like to connect with her. But what's the reality of do I feel connection? We do that by going into the body and just noticing. Do I feel comfortable around her? I think one of the mistakes in early pickup is we try to go for who we think is most attractive, and I teach dating skills to conventional people also. I say, go for people who are easy at first. Go for people who aren't going to reject you at first. Build your, get your chops going. That's probably different than some of the other men here teach, but one reason they have a lot of us is because we have different viewpoints. I think go for people who feel comfortable and easy, and see then if your heart lights up or if you light up down here or both. Yeah.
Why do I, it seems like I'm unable to have a connection with more beautiful girls, and it's easy to have a connection with less beautiful girls, because intellectually I feel like the chances could be the same for both, but it doesn't happen with really, really hot girls as much. Like, I don't even know how to phrase my question really, but do you get what I'm
I get what you're
wondering
saying,
about?
but I would challenge you on the definition of beautiful girls and not so beautiful girls. I think the male culture and the advertising industry are trying to teach you that some people are good looking and some people aren't in a way that is very harmful. Because that means a lot of us in this room are not good looking, and I think everybody in this room is really good looking. Because I can feel your hearts. So, are you being brainwashed into who's good looking? When we were in the Tantra groups, and we spent 10 days together, touching, feeling, talking, deeply communicating, looking in each other's eyes, we all fell in love with each other. And our idea of good looking really changed. And when I came back to I know this is really hard for people and I don't want to hear this part, but when I came back here and I realized it's the advertising industry is selling you on who's good looking, we don't have to be brainwashed like that. We don't have to accept their brainwashing. I'm as good looking as I decide I am.
It almost seems like the girls who society says are most good looking are less open to connecting. Maybe they have so many, maybe everybody wants to connect to them.
Yeah, so why would you want that? Why would you want that? Why would you want a woman who doesn't connect with you? That's a real question. And I struggled with that for years because I was going after guys that I thought were hot or good looking or would be good on my arm or who I thought I should be with, but they didn't feel good. They didn't feel good. Now my boyfriend I have now is really hot, but I did not choose him for that. That was a bonus. But that wasn't what I was looking for anymore. The boyfriend before that was 40 pounds overweight. Because I was really trying to not be brainwashed. Because what you want, what you're saying, that connection that feels easy and beautiful. That's where the beautiful sex comes from. Because someone that you don't feel a connection with, you're going to be caught in performance anxiety. Anybody here ever had performance anxiety? The rest of you guys haven't?
What is that?
Performance anxiety, when you're worried you're not good enough in bed, worried you're not gonna last long enough, worried that you're not doing it right. Okay, yeah, me too. Okay, women have it too. Okay, that's when you're gonna be worried about performing and not be able to relax into this beautiful connection that you have with this person. So I don't expect you to get that because it's a really hard one. That looks thing is really hard to get, but as you evolve, it might make more sense. But you're really on the right track by going with who do I feel this connection with? It's easy with this person. That's a good sign, not a bad one. So when you start to study the arts of love, the arts of sex, you are first learning to go down deeply in your own body. Okay? And become more aware of yourself as an embodied being, getting more breath into your body. This is completely countercultural. You become a Superman inside a Clark Kent body because you're walking around with superpowers that other people don't have. You are actually in a body. When you're with a woman, one of the things that you're going to be doing is creating a lot of the conventional wisdom about sex is trying to teach men how to make women come. And that can be a technique that can be helpful. It can also create a very uncomfortable, unpleasant situation for everyone because then it becomes a performance issue for everyone. I have to make her come. She's like, I have to come. It can take away from the whole love-making atmosphere. So what I would suggest, rather than that, you can learn those skills if you want. I recommend you do. But what it's really about is creating an environment for the woman that's safe enough that she can come. She feels safe enough in your presence. She feels comfortable enough in your presence that she can really let go. Women will fake orgasms because they want you to be pleased, or women will chase orgasms. But a woman will deeply have a deep, full body orgasm if she relaxes into it. And that's not something you can make happen. That's something you can create an environment where it will happen. Okay? So you do that by, first of all, finding someone that you feel comfortable vibration with, creating more and more safety with her. Mystery used to teach attraction, comfort, and then seduction. How many people studied mystery in here? Yeah, so that comfort part I was unaware of before, and that really has helped me a lot because men need to feel comfortable too to be able to open up their hearts. I was always just like, hey, cute, let's go. And create that comfort for men for their hearts. You got to create that comfort for your own self to open your heart because you're not going to be a really good lover unless your genitals and your heart are connected. So you want to work on creating an environment with the woman that you're seeing where she's comfortable enough to open sexually to you and you're comfortable enough to open your heart to her. That's going to it may or may not take a little time. Most people it takes a little time, it may not for you. It doesn't for me. I can tune in if I'm comfortable with somebody or not, but that's after years of working on it. If a woman can feel fully relaxed in your presence, that's when an orgasm will happen without anybody making it happen. And those are full body, cosmic, psychedelic orgasms. You may have heard about this fact that Tantra, men learn to separate. How many guys know about Tantra? Couple, okay. Guys can learn to separate orgasm from ejaculation. Because when you ejaculate, you're done. And maybe you guys weren't ready to be done. So when I started this talk and I said that biological sex is just about coming so you can have babies, Lovemaking is about not coming, so you do it for hours and hours and hours. And come when you want to. I'm sorry, I'm using the word come when I should be using the word ejaculate. You're ejaculating, you're not ejaculating, so you can make love for hours and hours, and then you have the ability to, you and your partner have the ability to decide when you want to ejaculate. So you want to create a comfortable enough environment for yourself and your beloved where she can fully relax. You can relax into your heart. It's safe for you to be loved. It's safe for you to love this person. She's not going to go crazy on you. She's not going to suddenly leave you for someone else. She's going to hold your tender heart with the tenderness it deserves. And then you can, by having, I've seen it with my partner, it's beautiful, I'd only read about it before. You can separate and not ejaculate. You can have full body orgasms and not ejaculate by separating them. So that's ahead for you if you decide to take up this outside the mainstream knowledge, wisdom that goes back at least 10,000 years of how to be a great lover, what's possible for you. People write about cosmic states, mystical states, psychedelic states, all kinds of things that are possible through sex. I believe that's why, even though sex, any kind of sex feels good, but these higher types of things are available. So you start this journey by, first of all, opening up to the idea that the information you're getting from porn and from the mainstream is only a very small piece of the puzzle. Very small, and in some cases not giving you the right information. And then you start working with your own body of, what if ejaculation weren't the point every time? What if that wasn't the point every time? It can be, you can ejaculate as much as you want, but what if I experimented with not ejaculating every time? And see what that's like, not leaving myself in a state of like, oh my God, I have blue balls, I wish I could have, but what's it like to walk around as a man knowing that I didn't have to do that? Don't you think that's attractive to a woman? Most women's experience of sex is, it comes and then it's over, and then, I don't know how many nights I would lay there, like he's snoring, and I'm like, I wasn't done, I didn't come. This is a lot of women's experience. And they're not going to talk to you about it because they're shy. So what do you think that's like to approach women knowing that I have some say over whether I ejaculate or not? It gives you power and strength when you meet a woman to know that I have taken my sexuality that seriously, that I'm going to create an environment that both of us enjoy. It's just, it's a whole other world.
I just don't really know what's going on with her. Like, and I'll be trying to like look at cues of her body. Is she done? Does she want to keep going? And I just have no idea.
Okay, so it's really beautiful to communicate. It's really beautiful. The best sex happens when you're able to talk. How are you feeling? Do you want more? Do you like when I do this? Would you like a little more of this? Do you want to stop for a while?
It doesn't like really move it.
Not for me. For me, it's really checking in and seeing where we're at. You can also praise her. Tell her how beautiful she is in that moment to you. Okay? And check and see the response there, which is probably going to be good. Okay? But if you're not really feeling like so what I hear you expressing is the undercurrent there's not a communication on whether you're doing the right thing or whether you're not you should go longer or not. Communicate. Okay? Give her a chance to communicate. Because the best sex happens when you're really communicating between the two people, and that creates an environment of safety. Does that feel like that would work for you or not?
It's not instantly clicking and
Okay.
making me feel like, oh wow, next time I'm in bed I'll start talking, but I can let it percolate.
Okay, and you can start the talking earlier as you're undressing. You can start the fact that we communicate also verbally while we're undressing. You look so beautiful. You know, you just look beautiful to me. Let me just touch your shoulder. Let's just stand here and kiss for a little bit. You know, I'm so happy we're making love. Let's just sit and hold each other for a little bit. Let me admire how beautiful you are. You know, in Tantra we sit before we make love and we just sit and gaze at each other. And get really, really comfortable before we start the act, every single time. Because you have to settle into that comfort for the sex to be really good. You have to settle in to be really comfortable with this other person. And that, what you're talking about is I've got to be good at this and I've got to please her. And then you're in your head trying to figure out how to please her rather than we're pleasing each other together. It's still good, but it can be better by opening the channels of communication. So you can start that communication. You know, they say that you should about 8 hours before you plan on having sex with someone because you're starting to create that situation of comfort early on by telling her she's beautiful, praising her, helping her feel comfortable, continuing to build comfort in all these ways that make a person feel like this person is valuing me, not trying to take something from me. You know, grown men give, boys take. There's a difference between a man and a boy.
5 minutes, Catherine.
Great, thank you. There's a difference between a man and a boy. That's the difference between a man and a boy sexually, is that a boy is still trying to take whatever he can from the sexual act, and the grown man is trying to give. He gives his penis, he gives his love, he gives his strength, he gives his ability to create comfort. And then the woman responds fully. But when women feel energetically boys coming that just want to take their sex from them, you have to be really cute to get that, because most women are like, no, I don't want that. And I want someone whose heart and penis are connected.
So I think you offer a very unique perspective, not only as a woman, but you're a therapist and you're a pickup artist of sorts yourself.
That's my boyfriend calls me a retired pick. He's like, you're retired.
Yeah. So you offer kind of a multi-dimensional perspective that most people we get to experience don't have. So from your perspective of many hats that you wear, what advice would you give us on how to build attraction and comfort, like run through some examples possibly, so that we sort of have, from your perspective, a mini blueprint of sorts?
So you build attraction in the same way almost everybody's teaching you. It's an inside job, right? Because how you feel about yourself is your attraction. If you are fully embodied, you are going to feel good about yourself. If you feel your breath coming in and you know you're alive, and you feel your skin tingling, and you feel your cock, and you feel your heart, and you're a man, you are attractive. You know you're attractive. And you take that out in the field, and the right women are going to be attracted to that. Because you're going to be looking for the women who are attracted to that thing that you have, that juju that you have. And that's going to create beautiful sexual relationships. So again, it's the inside job, which Vince is working with you on, all these guys are working with you on, which is the inside job of, I am hot. I am hot, and you, either you see that or you don't. Creating comfort has to do with letting people know that you're a caring human being, and you're not just out to use them. You can, you know, in Tantra we have a lot of one-night stands that are deeply meaningful. Deeply meaningful. Nobody feels ripped off the next day. Because you really connected. You talked, you communicated, you pleasured each other, you shared some love. It wasn't meant to last, but it shared love. How would you feel going out in the field if you knew that any woman who was with you was going to feel respected the next day, that she had a great experience with you?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Create that. Any woman who's in my presence is going to feel better from experiencing me. Create that. That creates safety and comfort. Okay? Then you don't have this sexual predator thing going on. You have this thing of like, I enrich every situation I'm in. I bring love to every situation I'm in. I'm a man who's not afraid to feel in the heart. That doesn't mean I'm going to give my heart to everybody. I can give parts of my heart to everybody. I'm not going to be in a committed relationship with everyone. But I remember one of the first things Vince said to me, I think it was day one, he said, I treat a 10 fashion model the same way I treat a homeless guy on the bench. Oh, wow, that is love. That's love. So bring that type of love out into the world of like, I'm sharing. Yeah?
I said,
Yeah, I'm sharing myself, and I'm a man, so I give. That's irresistible. That's irresistible. To you and everyone that you come in contact with. Just walk down the street, I see the guys that are looking at me and the guys that aren't, and it's all the same to me. Because I know if I want to go have somebody, I can. Not just because I'm a woman, but because I know who I am. Who I am. So that is what you're here to learn is inner game. Inner game becomes outer game. And part of inner game is experiencing yourself as a fully sexual being and not letting this mainstream society neuter you, because that's what they're trying to do. Don't let them become fully sexual, fully loving. Great with women and with everything else. So, for example, I have an exercise in Tantric dating. It's actually in both of my books, where I suggest people go to Starbucks and, you know, for decades I would go and I would, who's hot in here? Everywhere I go, right? Everywhere you go. You walk into Trader Joe's, who's hot? You walk into Starbucks, who's hot? You walk into everywhere, who's hot? You know, what I say is start challenging that by training yourself. You can go ahead and look for who's hot, but also look for who in here looks like they would like to take my kids, would like to spend their evening after work, after they get home from work, taking our kids to soccer. Who looks like that kind of woman? You're probably not looking to get married yet, but who looks here like she would be comfortable meeting my parents? Now, you don't have to choose this woman, but it's an exercise to help you start stretching who you find attractive.
oh, okay.
Because the men's magazine are telling you, this is the only type of woman that's attractive. There are so many different types of attraction than just that one type of. Do you know that 50% of men are considered good looking and only 1/3 of women are considered good looking in studies? What? What? How come men get it easier? Okay. So I'm not saying, I'm saying there are, the definition of who's beautiful in women in my lifetime has narrowed and narrowed and narrowed and narrowed and narrowed. So you guys are being taught only this type of woman is attractive. Now, one of my patients who's your age, I was trying to help him see this. He says, you know, I was watching some old movies. He says, I like watching old movies sometimes. He says, I noticed that there are women starring in those movies that would never be allowed to be in a movie today. It's gotten narrower and narrower. So I'm just suggesting, you don't have to change your mind, but I'm saying try expanding your own mind that nobody's going to tell me who I define attractive. Because they're trying to brainwash me. They're against love. And they're trying to create unhappiness. The advertising industry is trying to create unhappiness so they can sell products. I'm in charge of who I find attractive. And I'm going to go out and look with my own eyes and try to break this brainwashing that only guys who look a certain way are attractive. Because when I was blindfolded, I found all kinds of guys attractive that my eye had not taught me were attractive. You ever had the experience where, everyone's had this experience, you didn't think someone was that attractive, but you got to know them and they started looking a lot cuter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so look with those eyes that you see the person with later. Already. Because when you start loving somebody, they look beautiful to you. It doesn't matter. They can be disabled, crippled, it doesn't matter. They can be 500 pounds. If you love them, they're attractive to you. Try expanding It can come like this, but mostly it comes, in my case, it came through these beautiful experiences of falling in love with people that I couldn't see. That made me see that my eyes are often not my friend. Tell me who's a beautiful human being. I want to be around people who are beautiful on the inside as well as outside, but the more important thing is if I don't want my heart broken, I need to be around people who aren't going to break my heart. Aren't going to just have sex with me and throw me out. If we're going to have a one-night stand, I want it to be beautiful and loving. I want it to be with somebody who's a full human being, and that I need different eyes to see who's a full, rich, decent human being than just what advertising industry tells me is attractive. So I need to train my eyes to see differently than by being brainwashed to see. Again, we can still enjoy that type of person, but we just take it as that's the preview of the movie. I want the movie. I want to get the movie as soon as possible. I don't actually want to wait 3 months till I found out that this person isn't safe to be around. This person is going to take their boots and their high heels and walk on my heart. I don't really need that experience again. So it's both. It's having a realization, it's a decision that I'm going to be free and I'm going to be in charge of my own love life and my own sex life. Nobody's going to tell me how to do it. I'm in charge. That's inner game. I'm in charge. I decide who I find attractive. I decide who I want to flirt with. I decide who I want to be with. And I'm not going to have them tell me about that because I know it's wrong. I know from my experience that I had at the ashram. I know that it's wrong. And I lucked out. My current boyfriend is, well, hopefully he's more than just current. Anyway, my boyfriend is gorgeous, but again, I did not choose him for that. That's who came when I decided that I'm going to decide. And I was willing to not be brainwashed, really fight against it because the brainwashing is cruel and mean. You know, I would have used to have walked in here and not seen how beautiful all you guys are, but now my eyes are, I worked on that. I just see hearts, you know. So again, who's in charge? You are, of your life, not mine. Exactly. So be in charge, be full, grow to your fullest, be free. It's a lot of hard work to become free, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good luck. Become free.
Yeah.
I say that the pressure, one thing I tell my patients, the pressure to become a free human being is like the pressure of coal turning into a diamond. You've got to withstand that level of pressure if you want to be a diamond. And most people, if you look around, don't really want to become a diamond. You guys are on your way because you even show up here. I want to become a diamond. But it's going to take that much pressure and that much saying, I'm not going to take your brainwashing about any of this stuff. I'm going to decide for myself I'm going to be a free human being. That's going to be a lot of pressure on you. It's easier to just kick back, drink beer, and watch television. There's nothing wrong with watching television or drinking beer unless that's the purpose of your life. So keep evolving, keep challenging. It's going to be tough, but to be free is worth it. It's really worth it. 4-hour sex lies ahead, you know. Happy every day lies ahead. Being with the person of your dreams lies ahead, but you have to make it happen. Because if you settle for what they're telling you, that's what you'll get.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
How was Catherine, gentlemen?
Awesome.
Excellent.
You enjoyed it?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Did she do any work or trance or something, or meditation?
Yeah.
Yeah. We connected our hearts with our thoughts.
Oh, good. All connected.
Yeah.